NASA has, as of late, announced that the time has come to zero in additional on Venus, following new revelations in regards to the plausibility of life on the planet. If you audit NASA's official records from the 1960s, you will track down that the organization once alluded to Venus as a planet from damnation. In contrast, Mars had acquired consideration as a promising objective for investigation. Such unforgiving portrayals of far-off planets were normal during the intense space race period, a time when the Soviet Union was also heavily engaged in sending costly missions to Venus, a planet that appeared nearly devoid of any potential for supporting life. Regardless of this, the Soviet space program didn't forsake its Venera missions until the disintegration of the Soviet Union. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson played a vital role in helping us understand why they were so enamored by Venus. Join us as we explore the declassified pictures of Venus captured by the Soviet Union. The breakdown of the Soviet Union was earth-shattering for various reasons. Not only did it adjust the global political scene, but it also concealed quite a number of insider secrets. The Soviet Union was well known for its secrecy, from working one of the most complex intelligence organizations on the planet to staying silent about potential extraterrestrial encounters. Thus, the former superpower kept various secrets concealed. Before the U.S. began to lead the pack in planetary exploration, the Soviet Union was at the forefront of the space race. While the U.S. and USSR space programs had both triumphs and disappointments, their primary focus remained Venus, the strange and antagonistic planet. In Russian, Venus is called Venera, which also became the name of the Soviet mission that lasted from 1961 to 1983. This happened during the same period that the U.S. was focused on reaching the moon. The Soviets decisively chose to concentrate their resources on Venus during the space race. It isn't entirely unexpected that the Soviet Union invested so much in Venus. Were they considering the planet as a possible site for a military installation, or were they possibly exploring the possibility of colonization? In the wake of examining the planet for any indications of something going on under the surface, the specific reasons for their intense focus on Venus remain unclear, as the Soviet Union was deeply involved in the Cold War and many of their goals were kept secret. In fact, much of what we know about their Venus missions comes from declassified or unarchived reports, and even then, pinpointing the true motivations behind their persistent efforts is difficult. The Soviets didn't just land on Venus once, twice, or 3 times. In total, they launched 28 rockets targeting the planet, with 13 successfully entering Venus' atmosphere. Of these, 8 missions managed to land successfully. These aggressive and complex missions positioned the Soviet Union as a leader in space exploration. While the U.S. was a close competitor, its focus was more on satellite technology and innovative infrastructure, whereas the Soviets were more dedicated to exploring the potential for life on distant planets. Their focus on Venus stemmed from their quest for scientific knowledge and technological superiority. Most history books may not highlight this, but the Soviet space program was the first to send a probe into the atmosphere of a planet beyond Earth. It was also the first nation to achieve a soft landing on another planet, and the first to send back pictures and sound recordings from another planet's surface. While these pivotal accomplishments are often overshadowed by later American achievements, they were significant milestones in space exploration. In 1992, the Soviet Space Agency was officially dissolved following the USSR's collapse and was later restored under the new Russian name, Roscosmos. Sadly, many historical records were lost or destroyed during this transition, which is why some aspects of the Soviet space program remain shrouded in secrecy. Although we may never fully understand why the Soviets launched so many spacecraft into Venus' atmosphere, it's possible their decision was driven by cost-effectiveness rather than scientific curiosity. While the Soviet Union was undoubtedly interested in exploring Venus, they were also looking for the presence of water, solar radiation, and other environmental conditions. Without these missions, it would have been difficult for researchers to gain insights into Venus' extreme temperatures and dense atmosphere. Today, many astronomers still argue that Venus is too hostile to support life, with temperatures hot enough to melt lead and an atmosphere thick with carbon dioxide. It's easy to dismiss the possibility of life on Venus, But to ignore the pioneering efforts of the Soviet space program is to overlook an important chapter in history. For the Soviets, Venus was worth exploring, even if only as part of their broader goal to fuel the space race. Exploring planets like Mars was certainly not out of the question, but it was a significantly more expensive undertaking than sending missions to Venus. The vast distance between Earth and other celestial bodies played a critical role in determining where to concentrate resources. Venus, on average, is only 40 million kilometers away from Earth, while Mars is about 250 million kilometers away. This huge difference in distance is a key factor behind the significant costs of Mars exploration. Moreover, the U.S.'s global economic strength made exploring Mars more feasible for them than for the Soviet Union. Some reports suggest that Soviet missions to Venus were controversial and faced significant technical challenges. Many of their spacecraft were not built to cover such vast interplanetary distances, and there were several instances where communication with the rockets was lost. Given these obstacles, it makes sense that the Soviet space program would choose to focus on a closer planet that offered a better chance of success. However, focusing solely on the technical difficulties overlooks the bigger story of the Venera missions. When the Soviets began launching missions to Venus, the United States was still largely focused on reaching the moon. NASA's Venus missions during the 1960s were plagued by failures, leading to the phenomenon known as the Venus curse. Every time NASA launched a probe toward Venus, it ended in disappointment. This was when the Soviet Union saw an opportunity to capitalize on America's struggles and secure a significant victory in the space race. The Soviets accelerated their efforts to explore Venus, viewing the planet as a key milestone in the competition for space dominance. Despite their limited resources, the Soviets continued launching a series of successful missions to Venus while the U.S. focused on the moon. The negative portrayal of Venus, often used by the U.S. to downplay Soviet achievements, did not stop the Soviet space program. Their goal was to demonstrate their superiority over the U.S. Although the Soviet Union's Venus missions are not as widely recognized today, they were highly ambitious and advanced for their time. The Venera missions marked the beginning of the space age. Starting in the 1950s, the Soviets developed the technology necessary to send spacecraft to Venus. Over the next 30 years, they built and launched a series of interplanetary probes as part of the Venera program. During this period, the Soviet Union optimized its resources, making significant progress in space exploration by the mid-1960s. During the 1970s, the Soviets launched two probes, Venera 4 and Venera 5, in what is considered one of the most remarkable periods in space exploration. These dual launches enabled the Soviets to gather valuable data about Venus, including measurements of its atmosphere, surface conditions, and environmental factors that could provide insights into the planet's potential for supporting life. The Venera 4 probe, in particular, became the first spacecraft to successfully transmit data from the Venusian atmosphere, providing humanity with its first direct information about the conditions on the planet. Later, Venera 7 made history as the first spacecraft to successfully land on Venus and transmit data back to Earth. The data collected was crucial for understanding the extreme conditions on Venus, including its high surface pressure, intense heat, and toxic atmosphere, all of which made the planet appear inhospitable to life as we know it. However, the Soviet space program's perseverance in investigating Venus provided an invaluable foundation for modern space exploration, and many of the technical advances they achieved paved the way for future space missions to other planets. The Soviet Union's commitment to Venus exploration was remarkable, considering the technical difficulties and limited resources they had to overcome. Yet, despite the challenges, the Venera missions were seen as a monumental achievement in space exploration, demonstrating the Soviets' ability to compete with the United States in the field of planetary exploration. These missions also contributed significantly to our understanding of Venus and the broader field of planetary science. While the United States eventually shifted its focus to Mars and the Moon, and modern-day space agencies such as NASA and ESA continue to explore Venus with new missions like NASA's Veritas and ESA's Envision, the legacy of the Soviet Union's Venera program remains an essential part of space exploration history. The Venera missions stand as a testament to human curiosity, ambition, and the drive to explore the unknown, offering valuable lessons for the future of planetary exploration. Today, as scientists work to unravel the mysteries of Venus once again, the pioneering work of the Soviet Union's Venera program continues to inspire space enthusiasts, researchers, and space agencies around the world. The decades-long exploration of Venus set the stage for the next chapter in understanding this enigmatic planet. Whether through renewed studies on its atmosphere, surface, or potential signs of past or present life. Though the era of the Soviet Union has passed, its influence in the realm of space exploration, particularly regarding Venus, remains a lasting contribution to the advancement of humanity's quest to understand the cosmos. Information from Venus' air and surface. Venera 4's achievement prompted the advancement of something else. Complex rockets, including Venera 5, which was intended to gather special information about Venus circumstances. The 1970s marked the pinnacle of the Soviet Union's Venera program. Venera 7, launched in 1970, was the first spacecraft to send information from another planet's surface, providing essential data about Venus' temperature and pressure. Later missions, such as Venera 13, captured color images of Venus' surface, offering rare insights into its geography. Notwithstanding some disappointments, the Venera missions were fundamental in propelling our understanding of Venus and space exploration as a whole. During the 1980s, the Soviet Union's Venera 13 went beyond previous missions in complexity, capturing detailed images of the planet's surface. When the Soviet Union concluded operations in the mid-1990s, the Venera program had achieved far more than anyone had expected. The legacy of the Venera missions continues today, as Roscosmos and NASA plan for the joint Venera D mission, scheduled for the late 2020s or early 2030s. This new mission intends to investigate Venus' atmosphere, geography, and history in order to uncover indications of past or present habitability. The Venera missions pave the way for future missions to Venus, Mars, and beyond, and their contributions continue to shape the future of space exploration. The upcoming Venera D mission, a cooperation between Roscosmos and NASA, marks an exciting new chapter in the ongoing exploration of Venus. Set to launch in the late 2020s or early 2030s, this mission will focus on studying the planet's atmosphere, geographical history, and potential signs of habitability. The spacecraft will be equipped with an orbiter, a lander, and potentially an inflatable structure designed to explore Venus in great detail. The Venera mission not only aims to enhance our understanding of Venus, but also highlights the enduring legacy of the Soviet-era Venera program, one of the most ambitious and significant space exploration efforts ever undertaken. As we look to the future, the lessons learned from the Venera missions remain relevant to current and future planetary exploration endeavors. The technological advancements achieved by the Soviet space program, such as the development of robust materials capable of withstanding extreme temperatures and pressures, have been crucial for subsequent missions to Venus, Mars, and other planets in our solar system. These developments in space design and instrumentation laid the foundation for modern space exploration and continue to inform mission planning, technology development, and operational strategies. The impact of the Venera program extends beyond the scientific and technological realms. During the Cold War, the space race was not only about scientific achievement, but also a way to assert ideological dominance. The success of the Venera missions demonstrated the Soviet Union's technological prowess and marked a significant milestone in its competition with the United States. The global community closely followed these achievements, recognizing the Venera missions as a crucial part of humankind's growing understanding of the universe. Each success, such as Venera 7's soft landing on Venus in 1970, was not only a scientific achievement, but also a powerful political statement. Despite the challenges of working in Venus' extreme environment, the Soviet space program's determination and ingenuity allowed them to overcome technical barriers. Working in Venus' hostile conditions, including extreme temperatures of up to 450 degrees Celsius (842 degrees Fahrenheit), high atmospheric pressure, and a thick, corrosive atmosphere mostly composed of sulfuric acid clouds, posed significant challenges. These factors made it incredibly difficult for spacecraft to survive long enough to collect meaningful data. Yet, the persistence and ingenuity of Soviet scientists and engineers were key to overcoming these challenges, resulting in the successful collection of critical data about Venus' surface and atmosphere. The accomplishments of the Venera missions were instrumental in expanding our understanding of Venus' harsh conditions, from its scorching surface temperatures to its toxic atmosphere. These missions provided valuable insights into the planet's extreme climate, dominated by carbon dioxide, and its geological features, including volcanic fields and rocky terrain. The panoramic images captured by later missions, such as Venera 13 and Venera 14, advanced our understanding of Venus' surface composition, shedding light on its geological history and potential past volcanic activity. One of the most significant contributions of the Venera missions was their ability to capture the first-ever images of Venus' surface, offering a glimpse into a world previously hidden from view. The success of the Venera program proved that it was possible to gather meaningful scientific data from Venus, even in such a hostile environment. These photographs revealed a rugged alien landscape, strikingly different from anything on Earth. The outcome of the Venera missions demonstrated that, despite the harsh conditions, valuable information could be collected, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and expanding our understanding of the solar system. However, not all missions were successful. Some Soviet spacecraft failed to reach Venus or experienced technical glitches that prevented them from transmitting data back to Earth. The challenges of operating in such extreme conditions, coupled with the technological limitations of the time, meant that some missions did not achieve their objectives. Nevertheless, the determination of the Soviet space program, despite these difficulties, stands as a testament to the dedication and resilience of the scientists and engineers involved in the Venera project. In addition to their technical achievements, the Venera missions had significant international and cultural implications. The success of the Soviet Union's space program during the Cold War was a source of national pride and a symbol of the USSR's technological and ideological superiority. Each successful mission to Venus represented not only a scientific accomplishment, but also a political victory in the ideological struggle between the Soviet Union and the United States. The space race was a battle for global influence, and the Venera missions played a crucial role in this competition. While the Soviet space program is often overshadowed by NASA's achievements, the Venera missions remain a key chapter in the history of space exploration. The technological innovations, scientific discoveries, and political implications of the Venera program have had a lasting impact on our understanding of Venus and space exploration in general. These missions demonstrated the potential for interplanetary travel and paved the way for future missions to Venus, Mars, and beyond. Looking forward, the legacy of the Venera missions continues to inspire new generations of scientists, engineers, and explorers. The lessons learned from these missions, along with the advancements in technology and knowledge gained over decades of exploration, will guide future missions to Venus and other distant worlds. As space agencies around the world continue to push the boundaries of exploration, the spirit of the Venera program, marked by resilience, determination, and innovation, remains a guiding force in the ongoing quest to understand our solar system and the universe beyond.